transfer order. Okay, the transfer order which is equivalent to IR-ISO in EBS, which is equivalent to IR-ISO in EBS. But in case of EBS, we are going to create internal sales order. But here we don't create a sales order, we create a transfer order. We're going to create a transfer order. Okay. But let me just show you the flow. Source ordination, and then destination or target ordination. Okay. So from the destination ordination, we are going to create an internal requisition. Okay. And in the source ordination, that will be converted as a transfer order. Okay. Once the transfer order is created, the remaining step, nothing but picking, shipping is common. Picking and shipping is common. Okay. And in the destination ordination, we have to receive the stock. In the destination ordination, we have to receive the stock. Okay. So in case of sales order, we are creating transfer order here. Okay. The same transfer order we are picking and we are shipping, like how we are doing for the sales order. Okay. In the similar way, we do transfer order picking and we do transfer order shipping. Okay, like the normal sales order picking. Only difference is, instead of creating a sales order, we are creating a transfer order. Okay, the way of picking and shipping is similar to the sales order itself. Okay, and before we perform this cycle, the configurations are, so make sure item should have assigned to both the ordinations, nothing but source and the target. Okay, and also at the item level, transfer order enabled checkbox should be yes. Transfer order enabled checkbox should be yes. And also, if item is planned item, we need to create a sourcing rule and sourcing assignment again. If the item is planned item, okay. If item is not planned item, we need not to create any sourcing rule and sourcing assignment. See here, we need not to create any sourcing rule and sourcing assignment if the item is non-planned. If it is planned, you have to create sourcing rule and sourcing assignment. And also in the shipping parameters, you have to make sure ship method checkbox should be disabled. Enforce ship method checkbox should be disabled. Okay. And also item should have an item cost. Okay. So let's discuss these 5 setups in the system. And after that, we'll discuss the cycle. First, we'll discuss item setup. Product management and product information management. Go to manage items. Enter the item. And I could not able to see the org. Just select the view. Where is the org? Okay, let me just open. I opened this item in the master org, and the attributes required for transfer order is go to the specifications, and under the sales and order management, there should be a checkbox for transfer order. Okay, so this should be yes. Internal transferable should be yes. See here, yeah, this is the one. Transfer order enabled. Internal transferable should be yes, and also transfer order should be yes. Okay, these two checkboxes need to be yes. And in the purchasing, the list price, okay, this is optional. We didn't enter list price because the system is taking the item cost, not the price, not the list price. System is taking the item cost. That's the reason we didn't enter any list price here. Okay, and also under the planning, planning method. See the planning method, not planned. If it is planned, nothing but if it is either MRP planned or MPS planned, you have to create a sourcing rule and sourcing assignment. This you have to do. Okay. For non-planned items, you know not to do anything. Okay. And next is setup, interrelation parameters. Any questions in the item setup? Any questions? Item should be assigned in both the ordinations, and list price is also optional. You need not enter the list price. Item cost is fine, and also transfer order checkbox should be yes. Okay. And just verify whether this item is associated in how many ordinations. Okay, it is associated in Seattle, and then Atlanta and Chicago. Okay, and let us see the next setup. Next setup is shipping network setup. Nothing but in Fusion, it's called as the interrelation parameter setup. Interrelation parameters. So here, if you could remember this setup, we already discussed when performing interordination transfer between the ordinations. So you have to select the source org here and then destination ordination here, and make sure the transfer order required checkbox should be enabled. make sure the transfer order required checkbox should be enabled. Okay. To perform interordination transfer, this checkbox is not required. But to perform the transfer using transfer order, this checkbox need to be enabled. Okay. Transfer order required checkbox should be enabled. Okay. And right now, okay, you see here. So here the from ordination is 001, nothing but the source ordination, and then destination ordination is 50. Okay, and transfer order required checkbox is enabled here. And we discussed about this transfer type. Okay, what is direct and what is in transit? Direct is nothing but the source ordination is responsible to deliver the stock directly to the destination ordination. Okay, in transit is nothing but there is a middle point. Source ordination has to send to the middle point. The middle point is called as FOB, and from the FOB, the destination ordination should receive the stock. Okay. Any questions in this setup? Any questions, team?
No, Krishna.
No.
I'll explain you. This is important, the difference between planned item and non-planned item. In the notes also. Okay, see the notes here. And this is for the non-planned flow. This is for the non-planned flow. Okay. In case of non-planned flow, internally transferable should be yes, and transfer order should be yes, and then planning should be not planned. And in the interordination parameters, transfer order should be selected to yes, and you should have an item cost. You should have an item cost, and also financial orchestration qualifiers for intercompany. This we'll discuss now. This we'll discuss now. Okay, what is this a qualifier and then orchestration flow? Hope you remember we already discussed this. This qualifier condition for dropship. This qualifier condition we already discussed for dropship. Okay. And instead of creating dropship financial orchestration flow, we should create a financial orchestration flow. Okay. So we'll discuss these two setups now. Okay. And I clearly explained here. So SCO, supply chain orchestration, looks for the possible interordination fulfillment from the manage interordination parameter setup and passes through that ordination. Okay. And if it is a planned item, then whatever the relationship that you created between the source ordination, destination ordination, according to that, system will pick up. Okay. System will pick up the destination ordination. Okay. So let me just explain you this again. Supply chain calls the GOP. See here, in case of planned item, supply chain calls GOP, which means it reads sourcing rule, okay, and passes the internal fulfillment source ordination back to the SCO. Then SCO passes the source back to SSP so that SSP can possibly source the ordination selected to the user. Okay, so which means the source ordination, we have to identify the source ordination. Okay, the destination ordination is requesting for the stock, but what is the source ordination? From which source ordination? Okay. In case of not planned item, system will identify from the interordination. In case of planned item, system will identify from the sourcing rule. Okay. So this is an example. And see here, ordination A sources from ordination B. Okay, so clear, or if you want me to read the other paragraphs also. Clear for planned and non-planned?
Yes, Krishna.
Yes.
Okay, in case of planned item, the system will identify the source ordination from the interordination parameters. In case of not planned, in case of planned item, it will identify from the sourcing. Okay, so for which GOP will involve. Okay, so these are the steps. These are the steps. So I just created one internal item. Okay, and enabled these to S. Internally transferable to S, and then transfer orderable to S. And then in the step 2, see here, from I think I have taken 2 ordination, Bangalore and then Chennai, transfer order checkbox I enabled. Okay, I'm using in transit here. In the step number 3, I'm entering the item cost. In the step number 3, I'm entering the item cost. Okay, to perform IRISO cycle, you should definitely need an item cost. Okay. So for 30th batch, I have to explain you this later, how to enter item cost. Okay, and here I have entered only material cost. Here I have entered only material cost. Okay, and then later cycle, create internal requisition. And after creating internal requisition, run this program, process supply chain orchestration interface, and verify creation of transfer order and perform picking and shipping, and then perform receipt at the destination ordination. Okay. See the cycle, I'm creating an internal item. I'm creating a requisition with internal item. And here, this is the source ordination, and this is the delivery to location. This is the delivery to location. Okay, I'm transferring from Bangalore to Chennai. Sorry, I think Boston to, I'm sorry, yeah, Boston to, I think I'm transferring to CA, some location. Okay, Boston to CA, I'm transferring here. Okay, and make sure this location is attached to the org. Make sure this location is attached to the org. Okay, and once the requisition is approved, once the requisition is approved, run this program, process supply chain orchestration interface, run this program. Okay, and once the program is completed normal, see this is completed normal, the step number 3, just verify the transfer order. Verify the transfer order. Okay, so here I'm using my own configuration. See here, I'm using my business unit itself. I'm using my items only, my ordinations. Okay, here what is the source ordination? Boston. And then what is the destination ordination? CA. Okay, the source and destination ordination. So the destination ordination we have selected in the location. Okay, and then picking, normal picking. Hope you remember this one. Okay, I created a pick wave, and I created shipment number. Click on the shipment number and do the ship confirm. Okay, and receive at the destination ordination and verify the transfer order status, shipped and received. Shipped and received. Okay, And you'll see here on the transfer order page, how much quantity has been requested, how much quantity has been shipped, and how much quantity has been received and delivered. Okay, along with the document numbers also. Okay, this is the requisition number. If you click on view shipments and receipts, you'll see the shipment number as well as receipt number as well. Okay. On the transfer order page itself, you'll see the requisition number, and if you click on view shipments and receipts, you'll see the shipment number and you'll see the receipt number as well. Okay, so let us try this cycle. Okay, so in the screenshots, I have used my configurations here. Everything, my business, my enterprise structure, my business unit, and my items. Now here we are using the vision configuration setups, and we have to pick up the source org and destination organization. I'm on the transfer order page. I'm trying to see the existing transaction to pick up the source and destination organizations. Pankaj, please check. You're unmuted.
Yeah, that's me.
Pankaj, please mute yourself. Thank you. Let us talk about the financial orchestration setups also. For a transfer order, in case of transfer order, these two configurations are not required. Nothing but if you are transferring the stock between, two inventory organizations falling under the same legal entity, these two are not required. If you're transferring between two companies, nothing but across the legal entities, then this configuration is required. Okay, so that's why this configuration we'll discuss at the end of the class. Okay, for transfer order, nothing but transferring the stock between the organizations within the legal entity, nothing but within the company, this configuration is not required. Across the companies, across the legal entities, this configuration is required. Okay, so I'll discuss this one later. Let me just open this application in the browser. So to create a requisition, I'm using KC login. The moment that you enter the item here, automatically the system will consider that as the internal requested item. Okay, so we are taking a couple of items as an example. Suppose if I put this item, okay, see the source type, internal, nothing but inventory, and then source ordination, and then delivery to location, and then delivery to location. Okay, but here that's what I'm actually confused here. Source ordination and then destination or destination both are same here. See here, the source ordination is 001, which is Seattle, and then destination ordination is also Seattle. And here also, when I'm trying to create a rental requisition, this is nothing but the source and this is nothing but the destination. Okay, the destination is also Seattle only, nothing but 001 only. It's kind of a org transfer. I'm trying to see this location is attached to which inventory ordination. This is the location, right? This location is attached to, there are two locations I can see, portable one, two names. This location is not attached to any inventory ordination. Let me verify this location. This has been attached to Seattle inventory. Okay, so instead of using the existing item, let's try our own item, okay? Because the existing item mapping is within the org itself. Okay, it's not mapped across the ordinations, because I could see source same and then I could see the destination same ordination itself. Okay, I'm creating a new item, but we should enter the item cost. We'll enter it. The first step I'm doing, I'm creating an item. And, let me take purchase a template or finish a good template. Click on S. And enter the item. And your top measure is there under the specifications. What I have to select under the specifications, go to sales and order management, and transfer order should be S. Internal transfer should be S, and then transfer order should be S. Okay. See here, it seems to be these both are dependent attributes. These both are dependent attributes. See, okay. So both should be yes, and we need not to enter any list price. I'm not entering it, but in the planning, make sure we selected unplanned, not planned, nothing but. Okay. Otherwise, we have to create a sourcing rule and sourcing assignment, and we need to, before we create sourcing rules or sourcing assignment, we need to run the collections, right, to collect this item. Okay. That's the reason I don't want to go with the sourcing rule and sourcing assignment. I'm selecting it to not planned. Okay. And I'll assign this item to two inventory ordinations. Okay. So we'll take 001 and 002, nothing but Seattle and Atlanta. I'm selecting Seattle. And I'm selecting Atlanta. Okay. Okay, these two ordinations. So we'll perform transfer between these two ordinations. Okay. So we'll consider 001 as a source or 001, nothing but Seattle, and the 002 as a target, okay, which is Atlanta. And save it. Again, I want to open this item in the child ordination because I'm not sure whether the transfer order is controlled at org level or master level. So better to verify again by opening this item in the child org. Okay, I'll open the item in the child org. I would like to verify. So I open this item in the child org 001. I would like to verify whether the transfer order is master level control or child level control. It should be master level control. Yeah, see here. It is master level controlled. But anyway, it's better to verify because someone might change the attribute controls also. There is a possibility. Someone, maybe this is demo instance, right? Somebody might change it to master level to child level. There is a possibility. So better to verify it. Okay, I just created an item, and directly I'm going to put this item in the requisition. See what happens. How many errors we get. See here. it will say the source ordination is not mapped to the destination ordination and all. Okay, see here. So it is looking for the, see here, cost was not found. Okay, it is unable to retrieve the cost. This is one. Okay, but it is able to pick up the source and destination. It is able to pick up the source and destination, but we want to change the source and destination. Let us change that. And also it is giving the item cost error. Okay, without item cost, we cannot perform this. And without the interordination parameter setup or sourcing rule or sourcing assignment. If it is non-planned item, you should have an interordination parameter setup. If it is a planned item, you should have a sourcing rule or sourcing assignment setup. Okay. So since this is a not planned item, let us create a, let's create a interordination parameter setup. I'm in the setup here. Let me use this tab. Let me just check from 001 to 002 any existing setup available. I'm just verifying that's available. Okay, so 001 to 002 there is existing setup available, but I'm enabling the transfer order. But I'm enabling the transfer order required checkbox. Okay, click on OK, and then save. Okay, and now we'll enter the item cost. Now we'll enter the item cost. And item cost should be there in both the ordinations or just one org. Let me verify in the screenshots. I entered item cost in both the ordinations. I entered item cost in both the ordinations here. Okay. Let me enter. So where do we enter the item cost? 29th batch. Where do we enter the item cost? There is a whole story. Supply chain execution. Go to costing. Can anyone tell me how to enter the item cost? What are the steps? Okay, we have to create a scenario. We have to create a scenario. Under the scenario, we have to enter the item cost. Okay, but before I create a scenario, I wanted to verify these ordinations are falling under which cost org. We need to verify the cost org, right? These ordinations are falling under which cost org. If they are falling under single cost ordination, then single time cost entry is fine. Manufacturing and supply chain management, cost accounting, cost ordination relationships. There is a cost org called US operations. I think the US operations might be holding. This is the cost org. This one might be holding the Seattle and Atlanta inventory ordinations. I can verify here. So this is the cost org. Under this cost org, Atlanta is there and Seattle is there. Atlanta is there and Seattle is there. Okay, so we have only one cost ordination. Under this cost are both the organization, Seattle and Atlanta is there. Okay, so we'll enter the item cost under this. To verify the item cost, I should navigate to enter the item cost, I should navigate to supply chain execution and cost accounting. And first of all, create a scenario. Click on new. Scenario name I'm keeping like 23.4. And what is the cost org that I have to select here? What is the cost org that I have to select here? Everyone silent today. US operations I need to select, right? And then select the cost book. Oh, is it? There are two cost books are there. Okay. I'm selecting Seattle now. And I want cost should be effective from today. Save. Go to actions and manage standard cost. And click on new. Enter the item. Enter the item. Select the valuation unit. Oh. And I'm selecting only material cost. Entering this 100. Save and close. And click on update cost. Click on update cost. So once after the cost update program completed successfully, then the scenario status should be changed to published. Right now the scenario status is no. Just wait for a few seconds. Once after the update cost program completed normal, the status will be changing to published. Okay, it's published. Now I'll verify now by entering the item. Still I'm getting the error. I would like to change the delivery location to Atlanta. And we need to know what is the location that is attached to Atlanta org. I'm opening the org setup. So this Atlanta has the same name. I should be able to select this org in the delivery to. It is showing the availability details also. What is the available quantity for this item in Seattle or in Atlanta? Right now, we don't have any stock in both the organizations. Supply source, I would like to select Seattle only. But suppose if I select source as Atlanta, will I be able to select Seattle? It is allowing. It is allowing this way. But why it is not allowing from Seattle to Atlanta? Is it a preferences issue? In the preferences, I selected delivery to as a Seattle. Is it because of that? Preferences? Let me change the preferences. Preferences, I'm not getting the Atlanta. Because from the preferences, what is happening the moment when I click on enter requisition lines, the moment that you see here, automatically the deliverable location is defaulting without entering the item. Without entering the item, the deliverable location is defaulting because it's defaulting from the preferences. And I'm trying to change the preferences. Instead of Seattle, I would like to change to
It's defaulting from requisition business function.
year from the preferences. It's defaulting from year. And I'm trying to change it to Atlanta. Instead of name, can I try with address, name, address, location? Let me slowly type here. Is this location is active? And also we are also getting the item cost error also. So because I entered item cost under this cost book under Seattle, let me enter item cost for Atlanta cost book also. Cost org is same, but the cost book is different. I'm selecting Atlanta this time. Select the effectivity date of the cost, save. Save, I just created a scenario, and then to enter the item cost, go to manage standard cost and click on the plus button and enter the item cost. Sorry, enter the item and select the valuation unit. And enter the cost. I'm entering the cost in Atlanta org as well. Save the standard cost page and then publish the scenario. Go to actions and update standard cost. Okay, so we'll wait for the scenario to be published. And let me verify whether this location is active or not. I'm verifying the location status. Enterprise profile, manage locations, Atlanta location. It is assigned to the inventory ordination here. It is also active. It is also active. But you could see one more map result 0. I'm not sure what is that. What is that map result? But this is also assigned to Atlanta and this is also active.
Location code is different. Reference data.
Reference data set, this is the reference data set. Location set is nothing but the reference data set. This is the code. Let me try from Calvin Roth. Instead of KC, let me try from Kelvin Roth. Procurement and purchase requisitions. Let me first check the preferences. It is also Seattle only. Can I change it to Atlanta? No. It's not allowing me. No, it is not. Okay, we'll try this way. We'll consider 00 to Atlanta as a source. 001 Seattle as a destination target. Okay, we'll try this way. Still, I'm getting the item cost error. We have entered item cost in both the ordinations, but still I'm getting the error. Let me just try. Now I'm changing the source to Seattle. I'm changing the source out to Seattle and destination I'm keeping, sorry, Atlanta, and destination I'm keeping to Seattle. The source I'm changing to Atlanta and destination I'm keeping to Seattle. Okay. It is not a expense, it's an inventory. Still we are getting the item cost error.
Krishna, the last you're trying to enter the standard cost, manage standard cost, but the cost somewhere in the screen I've seen what you updated was actual cost, not the standard cost. Actual cost is like a fee for
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
to get to the standard cost.
But the org is having the actual cost. The org is set to actual cost, not the standard cost. The org setup itself.
Okay.
The cost profile is holding the cost method. Either it's a standard or actual or average. But that cost org is holding the actual itself.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, both are different functionalities. So
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah, it's different. Okay. Let me do this way. This will work. I'll put one transaction so that the system should consider that cost. I'm creating a miscellaneous transaction. We'll put up some on hand in the source org, which is Seattle. We'll put up some on hand. System should take this cost. I will enter here item cost. Is this cost entry field? Now it is showing the on hand. See, 500 on hand available. So we can verify the on hand, and later we can, according to that, we can select the source. So here you can verify the on hand. And according to that, we can select the source. We have on hand at Atlanta, and then we are selecting the source. Still, I'm getting the item cost issue. It's actual cost. In case of standard cost, we have to enter the cost, but in case of actual cost, we should pick up the transaction cost itself, right? I made a transaction against this item just now, and I entered the cost. Do we need to create a PO? To get this cost? Transaction cost. Breakdown. Material cost. 10 rupees. Any help? I'm not getting anything into my mind. How this actual cost behaves? Any idea?
Sorry, what was the question?
How this actual cost behaves?
Actual costing is on a FIFO basis or LIFO basis. That is, you don't do material valuation. So for a standard cost, how the business process is, you create your costs and then
Okay,
you
for standard
perform
cost. For standard
variance,
cost. Yeah. For standard cost, we enter it manually. The cost
and
calculation
then
will
you
happen
perform
for.
variance analysis.
Yeah.
Whatever every year or quarterly or half yearly, you update your cost and try to manage that.
Pranay. Please come to the point straight away. Okay. We do inventory valuation. We review it. Okay. Forget about that. Okay. So standard cost, we'll enter the cost. Okay. According to that, the rest of the process will happen.
Right.
For actual cost, what happens? Average is nothing but a calculation of the transaction. It's
No,
average.
average is it's
It's
basically you'll
average.
enter the cost.
It's average. Okay. Actual cost is nothing but we need
Whatever
to enter.
cost you enter, that is the cost it will take, and you will not do any updates.
Then what is the difference between standard cost, actual cost?
That's what the valuation, right? So it's an estimated cost. It's not an actual cost. So as
But
you
I didn't
as a
find.
variance,
Tell me.
as a variance, your purchase price variance you'll get, right? The cost accountant's job is to make sure the variance is zero or closer to zero. It's about the business process. That's the difference between a actual cost and a.
So you mean to say actual cost also we have to enter manually, like standard cost? Okay.
Yep.
But
I don't know the philosophy of fusion, but generally
the process is same. Okay. Cost method meaning is same. The process is same.
Yeah.
But my doubt is these two items are having the cost, right? These two items, but none of these two items are. Sorry, these two items are not having any issue when I put in the requisition screen. But when I try to verify the cost for these two items, I'm not finding it. So I suspect this is not manually entered, this item cost. It is taking from some transaction. Because when I review in the cost, I can see here. But when I put this item here, it is not coming up. But our item, it is coming up because we entered it manually.
Yeah, the actual cost goes through if you have done a transaction somewhere, or for actual cost, if you have entered a cost somewhere, it needs to take that cost. That's another thing on actual cost.
That's why I performed one miscellaneous receipt.
I that's now I'm able to connect the dots. But that should have picked up, but still didn't pick it up.
That's why I performed a transaction, but even it is not taking the transaction cost. It is not taking what we entered, and it's taking the transaction cost.
Yeah.
And there are no programs to update it.
Can I does Profit Center play any role?
No, because
No?
it's not an entry company.
Okay.
There is no involvement of supply chain
Yeah,
orchestration
yeah,
here.
yeah. Other than that, I don't know why. If there's a bug,
No, somewhere we are missing the cap.
mm,
There is a small cap which we are missing with respect to actual costing. I don't have much exposure on the actual costing side. That's the reason I'm stuck here. Otherwise, I would have been fixed this issue successfully. It is not taking the miscellaneous receipt transaction. Will it take PO cost? If I enter.
Yeah, I see that or some Oracle help link that after creating some miscellaneous transaction, we need to run some costing processes. Is that something that we need?
Might be we have to transfer this transaction to costing. There is a program called transfer transactions from inventory to costing. I think that's right, maybe. Because we did the inventory transaction, it should push to costing. Should push to the costing, we need to run this program. From to costing. Let me run this program. I think this might work. Cost org is cost org is US operations because US operations is holding both these formations. I think this might work because I did the transaction, but I never posted the transaction to the costing. And this might be the reason. Let's try this way.
but this is purely from my accounting standpoint, right? I think the mapping accepts everything. I think by default it will be set, but
That is what Fusion. Okay, Fusion, you should be planning consultant and you should be accountant also. Because to understand GOP, you should aware of bit of planning. I'll do one thing. I'll verify in the review cost. Will I be able to see anything there? The program completed successfully, and let me verify in the review item cost page. I didn't see anything again. There is one more program also to generate the distributions. Let me run that as well. Which will create a distribution interest for our miscellaneous transaction. This cost processor I need to run for US org. US operations, yeah. I know costing from last 3 years. Before I don't know about costing. After coming into Fusion, I learned costing. But it's good that I have some gaps while I'm working on the manufacturing projects, and every time I need to take somebody help. But now I've become an expert because I worked on the standard costing. I know how it behaves very well, but actual and then average, I know it theoretically, but I never worked on it.
Month ends, this is everything people live and die by.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for this program. This might take some time, I think. With the time anyway, let's try. Item cost. To perform IRS ISO cycle, transfer cycle, item cost is required. Connectivity between all the modules. Still I'm getting the error. Maybe I'll try after completion of that program. Will it allow me? No. Last 2 minutes, we'll try this. If it is not working, I'll troubleshoot offline. There might be plenty of transactions are there, which needs to be processed again is these organizations. That's the reason the cost process is taking a lot of time. Okay, just for time being, can we try the flow with the existing item? It would be very quick, but the source and destinations both are showing the same arc. Okay, let me change to Atlanta here. I'm changing to Atlanta here. Not for our item, for the existing item. Changing it to Atlanta and then deliver it to Seattle. Okay, let me try how it works. Team, I've seen some discussion yesterday in the group, so you continue the discussion. If you know anything new, just post it there so that others can read. And if you face any issues, also just post it there so others can reply. You make utilize of that group. Don't be quiet. If you know something new, put it there. And if you found some issue, put it there. And if you found some issue and after a lot of struggle, you found some solution for that, put it there. Okay, so that help with each other. And also, I'll also help you if you have any issues there in the group. But don't put I need my videos are not playing. Okay, don't put that personal questions there. Or please upload tomorrow video, or don't put that personal questions. I'm verifying the approvals because I want to verify whether it's going to somebody or it is automatic approval. The cost process is completed, but there are some warnings are there. We'll see that warnings. Now I could see the cost. I think our item will work now. So this is set to automatic approval. So we'll try. Let me create a. It didn't work. Let me change it to Atlanta because we have transaction in Atlanta. Let me try with Atlanta. It's working. It's working. This is also working.
Finally.
Yeah. I'm also submitting this requisition with our item. And just wait for some time to approve these requisitions. If you go to manage requisitions, you'll see the latest requisitions here. Just wait for this to be approved. Yeah. So this is our requisition with our item, and this is with demo item. Okay, both are approved. Now we'll run supply chain orchestration program. Program process supply chain orchestration interface program. We'll run that program. Okay.
Krishna, when we created the purchase requisition, we created the requisition for $100, where cost was 100, right? Now it shows as 109 as a requisition price. Has it added the tax?
Is it? Oh, yeah, I think it added the. Let me verify. Okay, I'm running the program and later we'll verify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that is wow. Okay.
So run this. What is the program name? Process supply chain orchestration interface.
What does that do? Can you refresh again? Sorry.
Process supply chain orchestration interface program. You were asking about this program explanation.
Yeah, high level. What one word? What it does?
So it transfers the data between two modules. In case of Minimax planning, also to create a requisition, we use this program. If you remember.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now, yeah,
I
now
remember, but I forgot that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
I selected self-service procurement because let me just cross-verify. Yeah, see. I selected self-service procurement because now the data is coming from iProcurement. So select and then submit. And thanks for that. Is it Mahesh or someone? Thanks for the hint to run the programs.
Thank you, Krishna.
So which means actual cost is nothing but the transaction cost, which is actual. We now need to enter cost for the actual. Okay, so we'll discuss that point at the end. I completed this program and go to supply chain execution and then inventory management. Team, please bear with me another 5 minutes. We can complete this cycle. I don't want to stop in the middle or at the end. We're at the end. Okay. Go to manage transfer orders. Manage transfer orders. From the supply chain execution inventory, open the manage transfer orders and so here the source is Atlanta, right? So select Atlanta. And here, yeah, see this, our item. See our item. So this is our transfer order. This is our transfer order. And also you can see the statuses here. You can see the statuses here. What is the source? 002, nothing but Atlanta. What is the destination? Seattle, 001. How much quantity has been requested? 1. What is the requisition number? This one. Anything is shipped? No. Anything is received? No. Okay. This is a transfer order. It's not a sales order. Okay, it's a transfer order. It is not a sales order. Now we have to perform picking and shipping. Everyone, are you there? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, please. Supply chain execution and inventory management and same how we perform sales order picking and shipping in the similar way. Go to picks and then create pick wave and then create pick wave, but instead of sales order number you enter the transfer order number. That's it. And I have to select 002 pick rule because we are picking from 002, not 001. That's why select 002 because shift from 002, right? So here, instead of sales order, you have to select transfer order. Enter the transfer order number here and click on show more. So see, customer is showing as Casey Brown because we is a requester. In case of transfer order, it is showing customer as a Casey Brown because Casey Brown is a requester. Go to options and just make sure you enable these 3 checkboxes to perform automatic picking and shipping, and also make sure the ship confirm rule is also there. Okay, and just click on release now. I'm doing a single step process, auto pick and auto ship, just to save the time. Okay, fine. So one pick slip is generated successfully and verify the programs. Go to tools and schedule process. Yeah, so it is also called the shipping programs also. Okay, that means the shipping is also happening. And after completion of these programs, we'll verify the status of the transfer order. So right now this is the status, and let me reopen this transaction. Okay, see the status. One quantity has been shipped. One quantity is requested and one quantity has been shipped. Okay, and this has to be received in the destination org. You have to perform receiving in the destination org. Okay, what is the current status? Shipped. Okay, let's perform the receiving. So receiving also supply chain execution, inventory management, and change it to receipts and click on receive expected shipments, but not the 002, it should be 001, right? It should be the 001. Select that org because we're receiving again is the target, nothing but destination. No confusion, right? Clear so far? And enter the transfer order number. So we can receive again as PO number, ASN number, transfer order number, RMA number. Click on search. So select the line, click on receive. Enter the quantity because we requested one and shipped also one, and we are also receiving one. Why it is showing the destination as expense? Maybe it's because of the requisition preferences. Okay, we received successfully. Let's verify the transfer order now. Okay, received and delivered. Clear? What is the status now? Shipped and received. And if you click on view shipments and receipt, you could see the shipment number and receipt number here. This is the shipment number, okay? And this is the receipt number. Okay. Any questions? You should update the on hand, right? Will it show on hand? It should display, but the destination type it is showing as expense. There I have some doubt. Should display. Let me just try. How much it should display? (002). 002. Zero zero two should be C here. 499. 499. Okay, but that one is not displaying in target because we selected the destination type as expense. That's why it is not showing in the inventory on hand. Because when you're creating a requisition, from the requisition preferences, the destination type is selected as expense, right? Do you see that? Do you remember that? That's the reason it's not showing in the inventory. Okay, when you're trying to create a requisition, just make sure you're selecting the destination type as inventory. Okay, clear with the cycle? Any questions? Any confusion? Okay, yes, there is a confusion at the item cost, but apart from that, any confusion? I'll explain that again. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The confusion here is nothing but, let me explain you. We have standard costing method, actual, and then average, right? In case of standard costing, you have to manually enter the cost. Item cost you have to enter manually. like item A, the cost is 10 rupees, item B cost is 20. Okay, you have to enter it manually in case of standard. Okay, but in case of actual and average, you need not to enter. Okay, it will pick up the transaction cost. It will pick up the transaction cost. Okay, okay, nothing but whatever the, suppose let us take, you create a purchase order. Let us take in case of actual cost what happens. You create a purchase order. In the purchase order, the cost of the item is, let us take some 12 rupees. So this will be there. You need not to enter anything in case of actual cost or average. So the transaction, you create purchase order for 12 rupees. So this would be your cost. That's it. This should be your cost. Okay. And here what I've done a miscellaneous receipt. I've done a miscellaneous receipt and I entered cost as 100. But the problem is I have not pushed this cost to the costing module. To push this to the costing module, I have to run two programs: transfer transactions from inventory to costing, and then distributions also. A distributions program. Okay, I have submitted these two programs because you entered cost here. The cost should be considered by the costing module. Whatever the cost that you entered in the transaction, that should be considered by the costing module. To consider that by the costing module, so we are running these programs. Okay, so that is in a layman language. But if you ask me technically, so technically the system will consider the transaction against the cost. The transaction against the cost. Okay, until unless you run the distribution, system will not calculate the transaction against the cost. So once you run the distribution, the transaction will calculate against the cost, then only the cost will be considered. That is a technical language. But if you ask in a layman language, whatever the cost that you entered in inventory, that should be recognized by the costing. That's the reason we need to run these two programs. Okay. In case of average also same. In case of average also, it will pick up the transaction cost only, but it should be average of the transaction. Okay, so here in case here it's actual, whatever you entered, it's actual. But in case of average, what happens is today you create a purchase order for 12, and tomorrow you create a purchase order for the same item. You get a purchase order for 20. The system will calculate the average of these two, 12 and then 20. What is the average? Okay, based on that, it will consider the cost. There is a formula for average costing. In case of actual, whatever you entered in the transaction, it remains same. It's actual cost. In case of average, what happens? It's a calculation of multiple transactions, the average of the transaction. I mean to say. Okay. In both these cases, you need to run these two programs. You need to run these two programs. But in case of standard costing, you're going to directly enter the cost in the. You're going to enter directly cost in the costing model itself straight away. Okay. Clear now? Clear now? Okay. Our ordinations, whatever we are taken 002 and 001, both are actual costing. Both are actual costing. That's the reason I entered miscellaneous transaction, but I missed to run these programs. Okay. When Srinivas told me, I submitted these programs. So the system has considered the cost. I entered cost manually. Okay, but the system will not pick up that. Okay, it will pick up the transaction cost only, but it should be actual. Okay. Clear? Okay, those who are clear, you may leave this session. Tomorrow I'll continue with another concept. And those who are not clear, please ask me again. I can explain you. I can